Full movie The Last Train from Hiroshima, 2025, James Cameron. This is the full movie released in 2025. I'm sorry about the subtitles. I tried to find a better source, but this is the best I could find. Sorry for any inconvenience. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe so you won't miss future uploads like this one. On August 6, 1945, at exactly 8 o'clock in the morning, an American B-29 Superfortress bomber, known as the Enola Gay, piloted by Colonel Paul Tibbets, flies over Hiroshima in Japan and drops the first ever nuclear weapon of war, instantly killing over 80,000 people and wounding hundreds of thousands more. Enola Gay then flies back to the United States with only 6 crew members aware that they just dropped the first ever nuclear weapon on human history, forever changing the world. In Japan, the survivors of the bombing struggle to come to terms with the devastation around them. People search the rubble for their loved ones while others wander aimlessly into the irradiated wasteland, unaware of the health problems that await them. In the countryside surrounding Hiroshima, people are dying from radiation sickness, which causes their skin to turn green. As days pass, people's hair starts to fall out and their bodies become emaciated and frail. But still, life goes on. People try to rebuild their lives and the city's economy. The military government tries to keep things under control and downplays the severity of the disaster. While American officials are already planning the second nuclear attack on Nagasaki, they use Hiroshima as an example of what will happen to other Japanese cities if they do surrender. It's August 9th while Sir Meikiro wrote his name. 1945, and Captain Anton Anderson, who survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, walks through the streets of Nagasaki with his friend Tomi. They discuss how life has been since the bombing and how some people seem to be getting worse. Anderson had lost his wife and child in the blast, and now he walks through the devastated city, looking for something to salvage from the ruins. He meets up with Kenji Fuji, who also lost his family in the bombing. The three of them reminisce about the good times before the bombs fell and talk about their hopes for the future. Anderson tells them that he wants to go to America after the war, but Kenji says that he wants to stay in Japan and rebuild it. Tomi asks Anderson to take her to the train station so she can buy some medicine for her sick mother. He agrees, and they make plans to meet again later that night. As Anderson makes his way to the train station, he encounters a group of children who are playing near some of the bomb's radioactive debris. They don't know that the metal is dangerous, and they start throwing it around like a game. Anderson tries to warn them, but they don't listen. One of the boys picks up a piece of metal and throws it at Anderson, hitting him on the head and knocking him unconscious. When Anderson wakes up, he finds himself in a hospital bed. A doctor tells him that he was brought in unconscious and that they had to remove part of his skull because of the radiation. The doctor says that Anderson is lucky to be alive, but he warns him that the radiation has probably damaged his brain and he may not be the same ever again. Anderson thanks the doctor and goes back out into the ruined city. He sees Tomi's mother in the street and asks her how she's doing. She tells him that she's getting better, but Anderson knows that she's really dying from radiation poisoning. He feels guilty for not being able to save her and runs away. Anderson goes to the train station to meet up with Kenji, but Kenji isn't there. Anderson waits for hours, but eventually he gives up and goes home. When he gets home, he finds a note from Kenji saying that he left town to look for food. Anderson reads the note and realizes that Kenji probably isn't coming back. The next day, Anderson goes to the market to try to buy some food, but everything is either destroyed or in short supply. People are starting to hoard food and supplies, and Anderson realizes that there isn't going to be enough for everyone. He goes back to the train station, hoping to get out of town, but all the trains have stopped running. People are panicking and fighting over food and supplies, and Anderson realizes that there's no hope for this place. He takes out the piece of metal that was lodged in his head and throws it into the ground. He starts digging a hole and buries the metal deep in the earth. He doesn't want anyone else to find it or be hurt by it. Anderson walks through the devastated city looking for somewhere to go. He sees a group of people gathered around a radio listening to President Truman's announcement that the United States has dropped another atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Anderson knows that the war is over. He feels like the whole world is ending. The people of Nagasaki slowly start to realize the severity of the situation, and many of them flee the city, running away from the danger. But Anderson stays behind. He doesn't know where else to go. On September 2nd, 1945, representatives of Japan signed the document of surrender aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. World War II had come to an end. Anderson learns that the war is over, and he feels like he's been given a second chance at life. He walks through the ruined city, looking for someone to share the good news with, but he doesn't know that most of the people he knew have already died from radiation poisoning. Anderson comes across a group of children playing near the river. He kneels down and asks them if they know that the war is over. The children shake their heads, and Anderson tells them the good news. He then asks them if they're hungry, and the children say yes. Anderson takes off his shirt and uses it to catch fish in the river. He gives the fish to the children, and they eat it. Anderson feels like he's finally found something good in all of this destruction. As the sun sets over Nagasaki, Anderson walks through the ruined city. He doesn't know what the future holds, but he's willing to face it. He's survived the atomic bombs, and he's ready to rebuild his life. The last train leaves Hiroshima. Many people are glad to leave the city, but some choose to stay behind. They've lost everything and don't want to leave their homes empty. The train arrives in Osaka, and the passengers get off. They look around the city, trying to figure out where to go next. Some people find relatives who offer them food and a place to sleep. Others aren't so lucky, and they wander the streets without a home or a job. A young woman named Hana finds her brother, Taro, who's working as a truck driver. She asks him for money so she can buy food, but Taro refuses. He's angry at Hana for leaving Osaka without telling him. Hana walks away and finds a group of people sharing a meal. She sits down with them and eats the food. She feels like an outsider and doesn't want to be a burden to the people who are trying to help her. She goes to a nearby park and sleeps under a tree. The next morning, Hana wakes up and sees a group of children playing. She watches them for a while and remembers how happy she used to be. She goes to the train station and buys a ticket to Tokyo. She doesn't know anyone in Tokyo, but she hopes to find a job and a place to live. Hana arrives in Tokyo and immediately feels the chaos of the city. People are walking everywhere and cars are honking. She doesn't know where to go, so she starts walking aimlessly. She sees a group of people gathered around a radio listening to the news. She stops and listens as the announcer tells the people of Tokyo that the war is over. There is cheering and people start running through the streets. Hana joins in and feels the excitement of the crowd. She's never been happier. As the sun sets over Tokyo, Hana walks through the crowded streets. She doesn't know where to go, but she's not alone. There are thousands of people in the same situation as her. Hana finds a small room to rent and moves in. She gets a job working in a factory and starts saving money for a better life. One day, Hana sees a newspaper article about the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. She feels bad for the people who were affected by the bombs, but she's also grateful that she wasn't there. Years pass and Hana's life gets better. She meets a man named Taro, who's also from Osaka. They get married and have a son. Hana looks at her son and feels like the future is bright. Japan has rebuilt itself and the people are strong. The atomic bombs may have changed history, but the people of Japan will never forget the lessons they've learned. The Last Train from Hiroshima is a story of survival. It's about the people who lived through the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and how they rebuilt their lives afterwards. It's a story of hope. Even when things seemed darkest, the people of Japan never gave up. They kept going day after day until they rebuilt their country. It's a story that needs to be told so we never forget the horrors of war. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so you don't miss future uploads like this one.